citation events for men. We start, though, with the final of the men's 400-metre hurdles. Summariser is John Glover, and your commentator is George Hamilton.
Just 4 runners in the men's 400 metres hurdles. The big disappointment that Northern Ireland's own United Kingdom champion Philip Beattie is not taking part. He has his own reasons for that. Stan Devine in this lane 4 here on the inside, the man we got to watch, the Scot. 5th in the UK Championships and 5th ranked in the United Kingdom. That's Kevin Curran, the Irishman. Kevin Curran, based in Epsom and Ewell. Then in lane 6, it's Kevin Lidlow, Hannah Gay. And away they go with Mark McClure in the outside lane, trying to open up a bit of a gap. But already on the inside, it's Stan Devine who's rising first. Devine in front then, and 2 lanes outside him, Kevin Lidlow going well as well. Stan Devine, the long striding Scotsman, 5th ranked in the United Kingdom, in front as they reach the halfway point down the back straight. On the right of your picture now, Stan Devine, who's been rising first. It's Devine up first, and in second place, just behind him at the moment, is Lidlow, who's in lane 6. Around the bend they come. Lidlow you see there in the middle of your picture, but it's Devine, the man in front. Devine, number 51. Devine, who's got the field to himself at the moment. Devine in front, but under some pressure now from Kevin Curran on the outside. And Curran is rising, and Curran has taken it up as they come into the home straight. And Curran now on the last flight. Curran is in front. Devine trying to claw his way back, but Curran is going to hold on. Curran wins it from Devine. Curran, the Irishman, first. Devine in second place. Lidlow faded out of that, and McClure was in 4th position, the local lad. But the winner there, Kevin Curran, the Irishman who's based in the south of England, runs for Epsom and Ewell, and wins for himself this men's 400 metres hurdles from Stan Devine of Scotland, with Kevin Lidlow in 3rd place.
And that's Kevin Curran obviously getting back to his very best form. That's certainly as fast as this season, coming through very strongly from about the 6th hurdle, when at that stage Lidlow appeared to be going the better of the 2 Anglo-Irish runners. Mark McClure at the back of the field, a little drop, but running very close to his personal best performance.
Well, Chris Black opening up with a really fine throw. Over 70 metres, well over it. The man who's displaced Martin Girvan in the Hammer rankings. So a real battle on this afternoon. Girvan's opening throw just over 70 metres, 78.0. This one from Chris Black is some way past that. That's the 70-metre line that the marker is standing on to the left in the darker trousers, and the measuring tape showing that it's well over the 70 mark. And we just have to wait for confirmation of that distance. 73.06 for Chris Black, 73.06. So a really fine way to start. Paul Dickinson, who had a no-throw in his first attempt. Big man from Enfield. He ranks 5th in the all-time British list for hammer throwing, and is something approaching his best form again at the ripe old age for an athlete of 33. Through 73 metres 08 in the 3As, and 73.18 last Sunday behind Black, the meeting at Spalding. That was his very best ever. So 73.18 is best, and that would put him ahead of Black if he approached it again. Off he goes, Dickinson. Just managing to hold on in the circle, but that's less than 70 metres. That's a disappointment to him. Sean Egan then, bringing Irish hammer throwing back to something like its best, with not such a big one this time. Sean Egan, who is Ireland's first 70-metre hammer thrower, but I think the shake of the head there says all that needs to be said. Ken Hutton then from Lisnagarvey. He's broken the Northern Ireland record every time he's been out this season. Off he goes again. And peering through the sunshine to see that that was a very disappointing throw indeed. The women's 400 metres hurdles, and in lane 3, the local girl Deborah McClung, the former Irish schools champion. She was seriously ill last year, and this is really only marking her comeback to this kind of competition. Next to her, Yvette Ray, the girl we're going to look to for a sparkling performance here. Bronze medal in Brisbane, a real all-round athlete. She is a pentathlete too. Then Kay Simpson is just outside her. That's Kay, and she is was the top British junior international last year, 4th in the United Kingdom Championships in the rain in Edinburgh. Outside her, the Northern Ireland international Elaine McLaughlin, just 19 years of age, lives in Paisley in Scotland, but born in Northern Ireland, competing here. And in lane 7 on the outside, Eileen Martin from Maherafelt. So they're set, and away they go for the women's 400 metres hurdles. And the two we want to watch in lanes 4 and 5, Yvette Ray and Kay Simpson. And it's Ray who rises first from Simpson, and that's the way it goes at the start. It's Ray from Simpson on the outside, working hard, Elaine McLaughlin, but Yvette Ray is really setting the pace in this event, but Simpson is clawing her way back as they go back down the back straight. Yvette Ray now in her stride and leading from Simpson, but only by a whisker. But as they come round about the halfway stage now in this race, it's still Ray, and she really has now pulled ahead. Ray has pulled ahead on Kay Simpson. It's lane 4 from 5. Yvette Ray in front, and there's the kind of difference. Just watch how they rise. Up goes Ray, and up goes Simpson. And there's a good 5 metres in that as the stagger begins to unwind, and they come into the home straight. It's Yvette Ray, the bronze medalist in the 1982 Commonwealth Games in Brisbane, is taking this one by storm. And Yvette Ray knows it's all over, and the championship is going to go to Yvette Ray in lane 4 over the final hurdle, and home she comes. Yvette Ray is going to win it by a street. Yvette Ray from Kay Simpson, and in 3rd place, and a brave performance from Elaine McLaughlin. John Glover.
Yes, a fine performance there by Yvette, just unofficially just outside the track record, which was set by Sue Morley here last year. The local girl, Elaine McLaughlin, struggling a little with her stride pattern, but Simpson obviously has lost the form that gave her age 18 best there a few days ago, but a fine performance by Yvette Ray, winning in unofficially about 57.3.
Martin Girvan goes back into the circle for his 4th throw. Chris Black still leads this competition with the throw that set a new Northern Ireland all-comers mark, 73 metres, 06 centimetres. Black, the man who has just overtaken Girvan in the UK rankings. Martin Girvan, who competes in England for Wolverhampton and Bilston, a famous athletic club, and for Annandale Striders here at home. The Commonwealth Games silver medalist in Brisbane last year. Martin Girvan, most highly regarded. 3 years in a row he's been the United Kingdom hammer throwing champion. He retained that title in Edinburgh in May. And off he goes with throw number 4. Lots and lots of height, but has he got any distance in the... Oh, yes. Just up to the 70-metre mark. Seemed a little further. But in fact, it's not going to trouble Chris Black's lead. This is the leader, with the competition now into its 2nd half. Chris Black, 73.06. The left-handed thrower propels it on its way up over the 70-metre line, but not up to that 73-metre distance that he achieved in his very first throw. The final of the women's 100 metres has in lane 1 Heather Wilson from Sparta Athletic Club in Derry. She's the Ulster and Irish Schools champion. Next to her from Glaslough in County Cavan, Deirdre Brennan, 3rd behind Heather Wilson in the Irish Schools Championship. Mairead McCall from Cavan is somewhat of a surprise in this final. Then Judith Rogers, 3rd last year. She's a student of sports management at the Ulster Polytechnic. Christine Lynch from Finn Valley in Donegal, really recognised as a 400-metre runner. She's in lane 5. Ruth Gaylor, the reigning champion, is in lane 6. Then that's Shirley Strong in lane 7, distinctive in the leotard, more known as a hurdler. And in lane 8, Alison Reid from Edinburgh Athletic Club, 3rd in the United Kingdom Championships. We expect all the action to come on the near side of the track as we look, with Shirley Strong to be strongly pressed by Ruth Gaylor, the reigning 100 and 200-metre champion, and Alison Reid on the outside, who was 3rd, as I was saying, in the United Kingdom Championships in Edinburgh on a day not at all like this one. Absolutely superb at the Antrim Forum in Edinburgh that day. It was raining, it was cold, it was absolutely miserable. But today, conditions absolutely perfect. Maybe a little too much wind, but not enough to put them off. They're set and away, and it's Strong who's come strongly out of the blocks, but Gaylor going well too. Strong, though, has got the eggs on her at the moment. Strong from Gaylor, and on the left of her, it's Alison Reid. Strong is in front. Strong's going to win it. Shirley Strong there first. In second place, Alison Reid, and Ruth Gaylor, last year's champion, coming in third place. But no doubt about the winner, Shirley Strong, the Commonwealth champion at 100 metres hurdles, and a great round of applause for her, proving she can do it on the flat as well. Shirley Strong then, the Northern Ireland Women's 3A's 100 metres champion, with Alison Reid of Edinburgh Athletic Club behind her in second place, and Ruth Gaylor of Tulcha third.
That event went completely to form, with Shirley Strong running her about her third 100-metre race this year, I think, better known as a hurdler, and Ruth Gaylor, who's been studying in England, hasn't shown much form this year, but has come back to put herself in the first Northern Ireland position. Very fine run there by Judith Rogers, also better known as a hurdler.
The men's invitation 100 metres in lane 1, number 22, Gus McCaig from Scotland, former Powder Hall sprinter, former professional, who returned his prize money to become an amateur and compete for Scotland. In lane 2 beside him, Earl Tulloch from Sale in Cheshire, the 1982 UK champion, and won the 81 title on this track at the Antrim Forum. In lane 3, chunky figure of Drew McMaster, relay gold medal in the 1978 Commonwealth Games for Scotland and a bronze in the 1982. And number 24 is Andy Parker from Brighton and Hove, Steve Ovette's old club. Andy Parker has beside him Simon Baird, who's got lost almost behind the track official there, from Ballymena and Antrim, student at Queen's University. And Baird is the Irish and British University sprint champion. Nigel Watson next to him, the Ulster School senior champion. And on the outside in the white strip, Alan Fawcett of Annandale Striders, a late entrant in this race. So we want to watch the two Scotsmen, Gus McCaig in lane 1 and lane 3, and in between him, Earl Tulloch, the powerful black sprinter from Sale. This should be quite a race. Men's invitation 100 metres, with the United Kingdom champion of 1981 and 82 in lane 2. They're set and they're away. Tulloch a little slow out of the box. Drew McMaster coming really firmly down the middle and powering down the right, and his right-hand side is Parker. But McMaster got a tremendous start, is going to win this. McMaster from Parker in third place, McCaig. And Tulloch was so slow out of the box, he really didn't have a prayer. Drew McMaster, a powerful performance by the chunky little Scot, really showing why he's such a key member of their relay team and why he's got 2 Commonwealth medals to show for his sprinting prowess. Marvellous performance from Drew McMaster.
Well, you almost expected that one to be called back. McMaster was so fast away, left the rest of them completely standing on their blocks. The race was over after the first 10 metres, and Tulloch struggling from the very beginning. But a very fine performance by McMaster in perfect conditions.
And that's the little man from Scotland, Drew McMaster, current United Kingdom silver medalist in the 100 metres, and what a fine performance here. Paul Dickinson now from Ealing with his 5th throw. He's some way off the pace so far. Well, that sounded good, and it made 70 metres. Ken Hutton's 5th throw, looking for another Northern Ireland record, and thumping it down. Was that over the 55 line? Well, we'll just have to wait and see. But he has been in fine form, pushing the record up and up and up all the time. He was running up to Girvan in last week's Northern Ireland Championships. Another new best for him of 54 metres 86 centimetres. 52.80, not quite up to his standard of last week, and not going to break the record with that throw. Martin Girvan prepares to make his last throw in the men's hammer competition, the invitation event here. He's got to beat 73.06 to win it. It's all down to this last throw. And off he goes. UK champion, Martin Girvan. Has he found it? It's a hefty one, but it's not long enough. It's not long enough, and Martin Girvan has been beaten in this hammer competition by Chris Black. It's academic now. It's not long enough. And that's the women's 1,500 metres, just approaching the finishing line for the first time. And in the lead, Carol Lightfoot, the Scot from Averil McClung, the Irish girl with Kay Hutchison in third place, going very much to form at the moment. Carol Lightfoot, the fancied runner. Nolene Mullen in there, challenging too. But Lightfoot, on her 28th birthday this week, is making the running at the moment as they move down the back straight for the second time. Martin Gervin's last throw on the hammer, incidentally, 70 metres, 38 centimetres. The title is Chris Black's, with one throw to come. 3-4-1 is Carol Lightfoot of Scotland in the lead. A really tight little bunch there at the front. Averil McClung, the Ballymena and Antrim runner, who is, in fact, a student in the United States at the Brigham Young University, is doing very well and determined to give this Scottish girl a race. And then in third place behind them is Kay Hutchison. Karen Hutchison, that is. There's Chris Black, the man who's going to win this hammer competition. And the cheers in the background encouraging the runners in the 1500 as they move back into the back straight. Off goes Chris Black again. Hefty throw. Is he going to clinch it with the biggest of all? It certainly looked good. 73.06. Northern Ireland all-comers record with his first throw this afternoon, Chris Black. Now what's he got with his final one, the one that rounds off the competition for him? Black waits. Well, 72.74, 72 metres, 74. So his first throw was his best throw. The new Northern Ireland all-comers record, 73 metres, .06. That's 72.74, Chris Black's last throw, and he wins this invitation championship. In come the runners in the background. You'll hear the bell, and there they are. And it's McClung and Hutchison and Lightfoot. 3:14 the time for, with just 1,100 metres gone, one lap to go. And at that 800-metre mark, they were on course for a Northern Ireland record. So what are we going to see here? Hutchison, the youngster, 17 years of age, from Pitreavie in Scotland, is in front down the back straight. Hutchison from McClung, the girl in green, with Lightfoot now in third place and looking as if she's wobbling a little bit there. McClung grits her teeth, and Hutchison holds on into the final bend. Hutchison from McClung, and Lightfoot, the favourite, struggling in third. Karen Hutchison, fourth best 1500-metre runner in Great Britain last year, under pressure from Averil McClung, who's trying to come back, and so too coming back is Lightfoot, who's found something in the final straight. And Lightfoot comes as Hutchison tires. Lightfoot takes it up again. McClung is out of it, and Lightfoot from somewhere finds the reserve to come back and win the 1500 metres. And Karen Hutchison is second, and Averil McClung is a very tired third, and Roisin Smith comes in fourth place. For that win by Carol Lightfoot in 4 minutes 22 seconds plus, certainly showed reserves of character in the Scottish girl, who somewhere found it after struggling down the back straight for the last time.
And Carol Lightfoot's 800-metre pace there, which is her more usual event, bringing her home in the last 100 metres. But very fine performance there by Averil McClung, showing some of the form that she's been showing in the United States early on this summer. That performance by Carol Lightfoot, I would say unofficially, is a new Northern Ireland Championship best performance. And certainly the young girl in third place is very close to her own Northern Ireland record. A very fine race.
Men's 400 metres invitation here. Carl Hamilton lane 1, Neil Jackson in 2, Keith Grant in 3, the man to watch, Ainsley Bennett in 4, Rob Harrison in 5, David Smith in 6, Kenny Thompson in 7, and Davy Quigg in 8. And away out of the blocks as expected in the striped vest goes Bennett like a train, catching up on Harrison on his outside. Ainsley Bennett going well, so too David Six has got a good start in lane 6. But Bennett is the man who's moving fluidly down the back straight. Bennett is overtaking Harrison on his outside, and the stagger hasn't begun to unwind. Inside we're looking too for Carl Hamilton, who's pulled back on the man inside him, Neil Jackson. Round into the bend they come. just past the 200 metres, and no doubt about who's leading this. Ainsley Bennett, Britain's best ever indoor runner over 400 metres, is the man who's showing that he's got class and style outdoors as well. Bennett leads them into the straight from Carl Hamilton. Harrison is fighting hard to overtake Jackson on the inside, but it's Bennett who's leading it. Harrison struggling in fourth place because in second it's Hamilton on the inside, but it's Bennett who's going to win it. Bennett wins it, and up for second place comes Jackson, with Hamilton and Harrison tied up for third place. But a marvellous run there by Ainsley Bennett, the Birchfield Harrier from Walsall in the West Midlands, to win that 400 metres invitation race.
A fine win there by Ainsley Bennett, with Neil Jackson coming through into second place, pacing himself a little better than Carl Hamilton in the inside lane, who had passed him after the first 150 metres. And Benny having one of his not so common appearances over 400 metres outdoors. He's not very keen on the event, but a very fine performance by Ainsley Bennett.
First jump at 165 for Caroline McKinney, medical student at Queen's University. And no problem at all. Through she goes. Best performance of the high jump for Caroline McKinney, 1.77 m, so still some way off that. But at the first jump at the height of 165. And Ursula Fay does likewise. Ursula, the youngster, very talented all-round athlete, really. She was at the Commonwealth Games in Brisbane. And we're now looking at Debbie McDowell of Belfast Ladies. Still in the hunt. 165, they're all trying to clear. Debbie's a chemistry student at Queen's and was the runner-up in the Irish University's high jump championship with a personal best jump of 1.75 m. And again, clear. And you get the impression that they're going through the motions a little bit at this stage, that it's got to go a bit further before they start to sort out the wheat from the chaff. Kathy Scott, 17 years of age, a schoolgirl at Methody, competing in the colours of Belfast Ladies. Ulster and Irish Schools senior champion high jumper, going for 165. And clear. Kathy Scott. .202 is Sharon McPeak, Ballymena and Antrim. Northern Ireland record holder with 185, but not in the best of form at the moment. Her first attempt at 1.65 m. And well over that. So Sharon McPeak makes her mark at 165, and we await the Irish champion and the Republic's record holder, who will be the next to jump, and she is Bridget Corrigan from Dublin. Here she comes. First jump at 165. No question about that. So they all cleared it at the first attempt. Bearing out what I had to say, that they are, I think, John, going through the motions a little bit.
Yes, I think so at this stage. The interesting thing about this event is that we have a homegrown field here in Northern Ireland, in which we have 3 current British internationals, 2 at senior level and 1 at junior level, and it's obviously the strongest event we have in Northern Ireland at the moment. And these girls are going to push themselves to, I think, record heights.
This men's invitation, 800 metres, features the Pan American champion Jim Marshall, who's flown in especially for the race. Jim Marshall, the American junior champion in 1981, a very good personal best time of 1:45, and he should certainly be the one to watch here. In lane 2, the black athlete. The rest we've got are Mark Kirk, he's in lane 1. In lane 3, it's Stephen Gillespie, the British police champion. Then Sean O'Neill in lane 4. In 5, it's Keith Cameron. In 6, it's Colin Schwed, who's best known as Seb Coe's pacemaker. Away they go. Schwed, tall in the white vest and black shorts. In lane 7, John Lewis of Scotland. And in lane 8, it's Richard Robinson of Apollo. And as expected, it's Robinson in the red strip who sets off as the pacemaker to pull them along, with Kirk behind him in second place and Jim Marshall lying handy in third. Robinson expected to be the pacemaker in this event to make sure that they clock up a fast time. Marshall, the Pan American champion, happy to hold himself back in 4th position as Robinson goes scurrying round that crown of that bend for the first time. Robinson then to lead them into the home straight for the first time and take the bell if he can keep this position all the way down the line. From his second place, Mark Kirk, and on his shoulder, it's the big man, Sean O'Neill. There is the bell. Richard Robinson leads them. Mark Kirk, then Sean O'Neill. At the time, 54.37 for the first 400 meters. And leading them off at the moment is Mark Kirk. But now here's Marshall coming up to show what he's made of. Marshall takes it up in the back straight. On the outside, Keith Cameron of Scotland, the little man in the glasses. Marshall to lead it, with O'Neill lying handy inside. Jim Marshall then, the Pan American champion, into the crown of the bend, and trying to make a move on the outside is Cameron. But Marshall, the big man from America, holding on from the little fella, and inside Mark Kirk, doing well for Northern Ireland too in the green, and Kirk mounting an assault as Marshall leads them to the line, but the big American seems to have too much in reserve. The Pan American champion leads them home. It's Jim Marshall to win it from Mark Kirk in second place, and in third place it was Sean O'Neill of Ballymena and Antrim. Had a fine performance, an expected win for Jim Marshall, but Kirk and O'Neill showing what Ulster runners are made of over 800 metres.
It's a fine performance there by Mark Kirk, who's really hitting form now. 3rd place in the British Universities Championship last week, and beating the local favourite Sean O'Neill back into later places. Excellent run. And of course Jim Marshall, the late entry today, showing the class that won him the Pan American Championship.
Sharon McPeak then, who's looked the best of the, well, along with Bridget Corrigan, has looked the best of the high jumpers. And we made the point earlier on that Sharon McPeak has not been in the best of form this season, but she certainly looks a lot more confident now. Sharon works in a sports shop just up the road at Ballymena. Northern Ireland record holder at 1:85, just to reiterate that. And she was in Brisbane with the Northern Ireland team in the Commonwealth Games last September. And the first to go clear at 1:75. And that look of delight in Sharon McPeak's face, I think John says a great deal.
Oh yes, indeed. Sharon now knows she's back in form, and that's, I think, more than half the battle once you know that you're back in form again. So she's really going to push Janet Boyle, who's been hogging the limelight in the early season.
And this girl too should go clear at this height. She's jumped 179 this season. Bridget Corrigan, Dublin City Harrier. And 175 should be well within her compass. Only want to go clear Sharon McPeak. So let's see Bridget. Yes. And the field now beginning to shake itself down into the favourites and those who will struggle to keep in touch. Bridget Corrigan and Sharon McPeak going in front with the first clearances at 175. Ursula Fay, yet again. Second attempt at 1:75. Oh, well done. That was determination all the way, and Ursula Fay is clear. Janet Boyle's last chance then at 1:75 to keep in this competition. Bridget Corrigan, Sharon McPeak and Ursula Fay already through to the next height, to jump at the next height. So Janet Boyle has got to get this right. She's won the Scottish High Jump Championship. She could be about to lose out in the Northern Ireland version. And she has. She has. Out goes Janet Boyle. Shirley Strong, the Commonwealth and United Kingdom 100-metre hurdles champion in the leotard in blue, and the lady who will show how 100-metre hurdles should be run. This should be a race for the connoisseur of good athletics, because Shirley Strong is unquestionably the top athlete on show here at the Antrim Forum, and she's running in her favourite event. And she will be in lane 4, 5 starters in this race, so she's one in from the inside. That is Judith Rogers of Tulcha, the first-year student at the Ulster Polytechnic and the Northern Ireland record holder. Stephanie O'Connell from Ballymena, and on the outside, Caroline McKinney of Belfast Ladies. And the one we've missed out, the one on the right in green, is Elaine McLaughlin, the Scots-Irish girl, resident in Scotland but a Northern Ireland athlete. So from the right, McLaughlin, Strong, Rogers, O'Connell and McKinney. And down they go. 100-metre hurdles. Best time this year in the United Kingdom, Shirley Strong this week in Birmingham, 13.11 seconds. And second from the right, she's the girl who's got to do well. Judith Rogers, the top local hope, in the middle of the 5. Set and away. And Strong first to rise. Rogers going well, but it's Strong, the class athlete, who really rips apart the field and goes forward. Rogers doing well to hold on to second. Rogers from Strong in the first place, and Strong take the last hurdle and cruises home. Rogers is second, and on the inside, McLaughlin. And that was just what was expected, and again the crowd rise to the girl from Stretford in Manchester, Shirley Strong, the Northern Ireland 100-metre champion, and now the Northern Ireland 3As, women's 3As, 100-metre hurdles champion, to add to our Commonwealth and United Kingdom titles, and that's a really classy performance from the lady.
Well, totally as expected, Shirley Strong, company to the first hurdle with Judith Rogers. After that, she was completely on her own. Imagine coming very close, if not bettering the Northern Ireland all-comers record. Judith Rogers confirming her position as the top local hurdler, never having been beaten by a local hurdler for 3 years, and she's held on to that.
Ursula Fay, a 15-year-old from St Dominic's in Belfast, the Ulster and Irish schools champion high jumper, who has cleared 183 for the age 14 record. 181 is proving something of an obstacle. So Fay's last chance at 181. Oh, a tremendous jump. Tremendous jump, and that could well be the jump that makes her the Northern Ireland 3As champion. That was class high jumping. When it had to be done, she found it.
What a great jump from Ursula Fay. And Bridget Corrigan from Dublin couldn't match that jump of Ursula Fay's. And though the 15-year-old schoolgirl from Belfast failed at 184, she must surely have staked a very strong claim for a place on the British side for the European Junior Championships coming up soon in Vienna. The commentator at the Antrim Forum was George Hamilton, with summaries by John Glover. The outside broadcast director was Matt Carruth, and the production was by Rupert Miller. Now to boxing, and last night in Chicago, the reigning British featherweight
Good evening and welcome to our highlights of this evening's big Ulster Games athletics meeting at the Mary Peters track in Belfast. Perhaps the most attractive international meeting ever to be held in Northern Ireland. We had the United Kingdom Championships, that was at the Antrim Forum in 1981, and those were certainly prestigious but held on a very cold day indeed. This evening conditions were absolutely perfect. A light breeze and beautiful warm weather and top-class athletes. Zola Budd, the fastest woman in the world over 5,000 metres, and an Olympic champion, Steve Ovett, who took the gold over 800 metres in Moscow 4 years ago. All the ingredients then for a great night of athletics, and how the Northern Ireland public responded, packing the natural amphitheatre around the Mary Peters track. There to watch the recognised stars and our own athletes. Men like Martin Girvan and Colin Borum, they're on the plane for Los Angeles, and Philip Beattie with every chance of joining them. Well, I don't want to hold you back any longer. Let's start with the big man, Martin Girvan in the hammer, the Commonwealth and UK national record holder with a best of 77.54 metres. Commentator George Hamilton, summariser John Glover.
Martin Girvan with his second throw in this hammer competition. He began with 71 metres 28, and off he goes again. And that great roar as he lets fly, and that's a big one. And the crowd appreciate Martin Girvan's effort. That hammer well out, midway between the circles marking 70 and 80 metres. Now the Northern Ireland all-comers record would appear to be under threat from that. 73.06, the best Northern Ireland throw in Northern Ireland, I should say. And that's what we want to hear about. 73 metres and 6 centimetres by the Scotsman Fritz Black is the Northern Ireland all-comers record, which is the best hammer throw that there's ever been in Northern Ireland. And we'll just see if Martin Girvan has beaten that. But the smile on his face, I think, probably tells the story. And it seems he's got plenty left in reserve. Certainly 4 throws left in reserve. That is best so far. And this is 74-76, and that's a Northern Ireland all-comers record. That's the furthest the hammer's yet been thrown in Northern Ireland. A great round of applause for Mike Paul from Trinidad. Mike Paul, the star of this particular field for the men's 400 metres, and a man who won the race at the 3As against Loughborough last weekend, beating David Jenkins, and the man who should really take the honours in this 400 metres. Of winning this race. So Paul then in lane 4 is the man we will want to watch. Mike Paul from Trinidad, who should lead this from start to finish. Sent to their marks and ready to go. 6 in this. And Paul, lane 4, the blue vest, the man we want to watch. And slowly out of the blocks there, because Mark Rowan on his inside is showing well so far, but Paul is the man we will want to watch in your picture now. Down the backstretch for the one and only time, and closing on the man outside of Delaney. Paul then, as the stagger begins to unwind, is in front. Paul it is, coming into the home straight now. The 400 metres has taken back that stagger, and Paul is well in front as he comes into the home straight, and the crowd rising to him. Mike Paul has 5 metres to spare, more stretching all the way. Mike Paul is going to win this 400 metres ahead of Jerry Delaney. Paul it is, Delaney second, and Mike Paul's time 46.73 is just outside the Northern Ireland all-comers record registered by Steve Scott of England 2 years ago. Mike Paul then the winner of the 400 metres in convincing style. Ursula Fay goes off then to try to set a Northern Ireland record and doesn't succeed this time.
Dublin City Harriers.
Ursula Fay
Is replacing
little lady from St Dominic's,
Ruth Gaylor,
who was trying to set a new Northern Ireland record at 1 metre 86.
from Clonliffe Harriers in Dublin.
And off she goes. Vanessa Brown going for 1 metre 90.
To Alan Wells.
And making it. And that equals the Northern Ireland all-comers record. And the Australian girl has done it and gets all the congratulations. Joan Baptiste in lane 1, then in lane 2, Debbie Wells, in lane 3, Bev Kinch, in lane 4, Sandra Whittaker, in lane 5, Sonia Lanneman, and out on the outside in lane 6 from Dublin City Harriers, Patricia Ammond. Sandra Whittaker went for the Olympics and achieved that by winning the Olympic trial in Gateshead. Has she got it here to win it at Upper Malone? And meanwhile, we've got quite an interesting duel in prospect between Kinch and Baptiste. Off they go, Whittaker showing well. And a good race this is turning out to be. But the girl who's going to win it in the middle is Bev Kinch, and Sandra Whittaker left somewhat there. At the time, 11.51 seconds.
Just outside the Northern Ireland all-comers record.
Beverly Kinch, the winner.
Winner of the women's 100 metres. Beverly Kinch.
Sonia Lanneman away very quickly, but as the race progressed, it was Beverly Kinch, the 20-year-old from Hounslow, who started to pull well clear of the field and surely to show the selectors exactly who they should be picking for the Olympics. Beverly Kinch, who was determined to make this Olympic team this year and hasn't been selected yet, but I would have thought that was a knock in the arm for the selectors. Well clear of Sandra Whittaker.
Martin Girvan then prepares for his final throw in the hammer. He's in front and apparently unassailable. 74 metres, 74 centimetres was what he threw second time into the circle, and that broke the Northern Ireland all-comers record, the biggest hammer throw there's been in Northern Ireland. And he'd love to stretch that out still further.
He's given us a real demonstration tonight.
But certainly he's on his way to winning this, I'm sure. Girvan in the circle then for the last time, and what a popular winner he'd be. 74.74 to beat. This is the final throw. Off it goes. That looks big too. And it's, well, in the middle of that 70 to 80 mark. Out comes the tape, and Girvan should surely have won this now. There it goes again. And we have what looks a very good throw. And Matt Milam and Paul Dickinson don't appear to have been within shouting distance of him tonight. 74.50. So his second one wins it. And Martin Girvan should surely win this now. We've got Matt Milam to come. But Girvan, with that throw of 74 metres and 74 centimetres, getting the congratulations already. Milam's final throw should confirm Martin Girvan as the winner of the hammer competition.
Martin Girvan threw 74 metres 50.
Matt Milam.
A very, very consistent exhibition.
And Milam, who's been studying in the United States, brings all his American expertise to bear with a final throw, but that's not going to be enough to beat Martin Girvan. And Girvan will get the confirmation he expects and will have won the hammer. And that's Matt Milam, who knows it wasn't quite enough on the night. But we're watching very good hammer throwers here, and it'll take a very good hammer thrower to beat Northern Ireland's own Martin Girvan. And that's Matt Milam, who didn't quite make it. And 72.5 metres, Milam's throw. And Martin Girvan wins the hammer. Lane 1, Pat Woods from Clonliffe Harriers in this 100 metres. Alongside him, Ernest Obeng, one of the fastest starters in the game. Then in lane 3, Derek O'Connor from Dundrum in Dublin. In lane 4, it's Gerard Keating, the Australian. Lane 5 from Ballymena and Antrim, Simon Baird. Nigel Watson is in lane 6. And that's the lineup for the men's 100 metres. And we're all set for this. Starter blows the whistle, calls them to their marks. Off they go now. 6 in this field. And we're watching for lane 2 for Ernest Obeng, the Ghanaian. He's the one who should be fastest out of the blocks. And always a testing time if they're held too long. Not held too long this time, and a clean start, and Obeng roars away, and he's in front, but getting pressed on the inside. But Keating, the Australian, Keating and Obeng. Obeng's just got him at the moment. Obeng struggling hard to hold on and doing it well, and Obeng wins it from Keating. And a great win for the Ghanaian. Ernest Obeng wins it from the Australian, Gerard Keating. That was a great performance of sprinting, fast out of the blocks, and Obeng won it.
Ernest Obeng of Ghana. His time 10.5.
Ernest Obeng away very low, very fast, and pulling away from Gerard Keating, just as he did on Sunday. And as they come to the line, Simon Baird, fourth in the Olympic 200 trials, dips to beat the Irish record holder, Derek O'Connor.
Who's got best for flat 400 meters.
Third attempt for Vanessa Brown at 1.93 m in the high jump. Her personal best is 1.94 m. She would finish second in the women's 3As at the Crystal Palace last Saturday with a jump of 1.86 m on the countback. Here she goes, 1.93 m, and no joy again, but a fine performance of jumping by Vanessa Brown to win that women's high jump with a jump of 1.90 m.
Here we go then.
J.J. Barry then on the outside in this for the men's 400 meters hurdles. And Kevin Lidlow is just inside him over Barry's left elbow. Further back, Martin Briggs now, all in white, City of Stoke, the UK champion who took away Phil Beattie's title, and that's Phil Beattie on the right of picture, now moving into centre. Number 43, the student from Gilnahirk. In lane 2, the Australian Gary Brown, and right on the inside, the Scot, attired all in dark blue, is Stan Devine. Now, this should be a race between Beattie and Briggs. Score to settle here for Phil Beattie, the local lad. Briggs already in the Olympic squad. Beattie got to make his point. An earnest selection, and Beattie, who won the UK Championship in Edinburgh in 1983, lost it in Cwmbran to Martin Briggs, the young man from Stoke, just a matter of weeks ago. And the rivalry between these two has been intense throughout this athletic season, and they will both doubtless be on the plane to Los Angeles, but Beattie still to get the final nod. They're set, and they're away, and the two in the middle are the two we want to watch. Beattie in green, Briggs all in white, and who's the first to rise? It's Beattie just by a whisker. Beattie from Briggs at the moment as they go into the back straight for the first time, and Phil Beattie determined on his home track to do the business. Beattie, a great run by him so far, showing well on the inside, Stan Devine, but Beattie and Briggs between each other, and Beattie has really torn back that stagger as they go into the bend. Beattie is right up on Briggs, determined to do well in this race. Let's just see as he got it in reserve to see him down the home straight. Beattie is leading Briggs at this moment. Phil Beattie, the homer, is in front. And Beattie, as he comes into the straight, has got a fight in his hands. Devine trying to come late, but it's Beattie against Briggs. And Beattie is in front. Final hurdle. Beattie's over it first. Briggs chasing him hard. And Phil Beattie is determined to win this. Briggs fighting hard, but Beattie gets it. And Phil Beattie gets it in 50.50 seconds. And the first congratulations in from Martin Briggs. A tremendous race, that one. And a measure of vengeance for the young man from Gilnahirk. Phil Beattie wins it.
Well, it was Stan Devine who led for the first 7 hurdles, running the race of his life, leaving the Commonwealth champion for dead, but it was Phil Beattie and Martin Briggs we were interested in. And for once, Beattie was not coming into the straight behind, but leading, and his strong finish took him away to win in a time of around 50.5 seconds, and that must surely clinch Beattie's trip to Los Angeles along with Martin Briggs.
Fantastic race. And Phil Beattie inside the Olympic qualifying for the second time. Back in Northern Ireland, would you welcome Steve Ovett?
A rousing cheer for one of the reasons why this big crowd has come to the Mary Peters track. Steve Ovett back in Northern Ireland to run in this 800 metres, and keen to get a good time to convince the selectors that he should be doubling up at 8 and 1500 metres in Los Angeles. Ovett, in black with a white band, is the Olympic champion over 800 metres and is trying to get back into form after having niggling injury problems and the general kind of thing that afflicts athletes from time to time, but he's overcome that. He had a good run at the weekend at Loughborough where he beat Rob Harrison and Ike Billy. Ike Billy's in this field here, up-and-coming star, and a man that Ovett will always like to see out of the way and well behind him. Ovett will be starting this in the middle. And Billy is all in white. You can just about see him over the clock there, his face.
800 meters.
Billy will be obviously in for a very good performance here himself. Up-and-coming young man, son of a Nigerian father, comes from Liverpool, runs out of the world. 2 laps of the track. And off they go. And Ovett just making sure he's not into any kind of trouble. The 800 meters then, Paul Forbes the first to show. And Billy and Steve Ovett just overtaking Billy to move into second place. And then bursting up the back is Kenny Thompson, the Vanadale Striders. Familiar colours on the local scene, yellow and black. And he's the pacemaker here, obviously. Trying to pull them through to a fast time. In second place, Paul Forbes, then Steve Ovett, then Billy. Round the crown of the bend for the first time. And Kenny Thompson is in front, but in this obviously as a pacemaker. Thompson from Forbes and Ovett. And Billy is in fourth place. Paul Forbes just tucked in behind Kenny Thompson as they take the bell. Thompson striding forward. Ovett lying very, very handy indeed. Billy just inside him, all in white, there he is. And Thompson still leads it. Tommy Maloney moving up now, and Thompson of Annandale, having set the pace, moves out of it. And Ovett nicely placed behind Tommy Maloney. Billy is there too, and so too Sean O'Neill. But Ovett moves to the front. Sean O'Neill trying to put some pressure on him. Ovett from O'Neill. 200 metres to go. Ovett in the lead. O'Neill now losing touches. Billy moves up the outside. And Ovett just looks over the shoulder to see where Billy is. He's coming hard, but Ovett looks as if he's got it in his gift. And Ovett lengthens his stride. But Ovett from Billy, and Ovett just holding him off. Steve Ovett wins the 800 metres from Billy. And a great run by Steve Ovett. 1 minute 46.17 seconds. And that inside the Olympic qualifying time of 1 minute 47.
Steve Ovett from Phoenix, 1 minute 46.17 seconds.
First lap in 52.83 seconds was good enough to set Steve Ovett up for that finishing time. Mind you, he looked around him coming down that home straight. There was certainly no wave at this stage. Billy pushing very hard and closing with every stride. But Ovett managing to hold him off, working right through the line to get the time of 1:46.17, his fastest time this season.
Event 16 on your program, one of the big star events of the evening, the women's 3,000 meters.
And that's Zola Budd, the young lady they've all come to see, and you'll note she hasn't got the shoes on. A marvellous night, marvellous summer evening, and no need to wear shoes. She's got a habit of running in her bare feet when the conditions permit, and they certainly permit it here. It's been a gloriously hot day and a beautiful evening for running, and Zola Budd has dispensed with the shoes yet again. She trains in them sometimes, she runs in them if the conditions aren't good, but she is certainly way ahead of anything else in this field. Zola Budd, who has been setting records all over the place as she has come to Britain and taken British athletics by storm. And there is the acclaim that she's getting from this vast crowd at the track. Zola Budd, second on the left in your picture. They've come to see, and those are the lucky ones. They get a place down by the front. Well, they get plenty of chance to see her. 7.5 laps of the track, and she'll be in front for most of those, I can assure you.
In the BLE Championships on Olympic qualifying, she's hoping to go
Zola Budd
below 9 minutes.
runs for Aldershot Farnham District now. Of course, began in South Africa, where she was born. Off they go, the 3,000 metres, I should say. And Zola Budd eases herself in front at the outset. Now, 7.5 laps to go. And Zola Budd has the capacity to burn off just about any kind of opposition at all. Zola Budd in front. Suzanne Morley from Brighton is second. She is a class athlete too, but not quite in the Budd class, but hanging on her shoulder for the first trip down the home straight. Zola Budd then takes them through over the finishing line for the first time. taking it at a nice, steady early pace. But she's so used to running on her own, Zola Budd. And already, before the first lap has gone by, there's a gap of 3-4 meters between her and Suzanne Morley as they go down the backstretch for the first time. And they came to see Zola Budd, and they'll certainly see plenty of her. She won't be bunched up in any kind of chasing group. Zola Budd in front. Look at that bank of people who've come here. That's remarkable too. Remarkable athlete and a remarkable gallery to see her. Zola has some remarkable times behind her. Her very best, 8 minutes 37.5 seconds for this. She set in February back home in South Africa. The Olympic trials, she set a European junior record of 8 minutes 40.22 seconds. And the pace she's running at the moment, if she keeps it up, she could well strike for a British record. At the moment, just a second outside British record pace. And you can sense the excitement building as she stretches her lead from Suzanne Morley. The crowd loving this. Zola Budd in front, and now with 15 meters to spare and stretching that lead all the time. 2 laps of the track to go then when she reaches the finishing line at the end of this lap. Two laps to run. And the crowd really rising to her. 6:40 now, and Zola heading for the back straight again. And the crowd are giving her every possible encouragement to smash this British record. This is a remarkable run, and when you consider that it's all done alone. They talk about putting in athletes to pull the pace along. Fast starters. Well, Zola needs none of that. She makes her own pace. She sets off, and she breaks records with gay abandon. 600 meters to go. Zola Budd way out in front. And the crowd loving every minute. Into the home straight for the penultimate time. And the crowd roaring their appreciation. Zola Budd takes the bell. All alone, 1 lap to go. 400 meters. And should be roared all the way around. Suzanne Morley still about the 60 meters behind. She's done well to hold on and not let it slip, Suzanne Morley. We're in the final lap for Zola Budd. 300 meters to go. And just to refresh your memory about those times, the British record, 8 minutes, 37.08 seconds, set by Wendy Sly at the World Championships in Helsinki. The European junior record, which is Zola's own, 8 minutes, 40.22, set at the Olympic trial, when again she had to do it all on her own from the front. Round the final bend she goes. This race, the story of Zola Budd. No question that this is the fastest 3,000 metres ever run in Northern Ireland. Now with 100 metres to go, has she got what it takes to beat the British record too? Zola Budd isn't going to take that British record, but it's a remarkable run nonetheless. Zola Budd is home in 8:52.01. And that is the best 3,000 metres that's ever been seen in Northern Ireland. Suzanne Morley just about to cross the line. But Zola Budd, the winner by a street. And what a brave run by that girl, Suzanne Morley. And there's Zola Budd with the usual entourage of minders, the hottest property in British athletics. Off goes Alec Kruger then in this high jump. At 2 meters 15, and he's over. Now, this is going to be some competition. Floyd Manderson, who competes for Annandale Striders, cleared that first of all. That's equaling the Northern Ireland all-comers 2 meters 15, and now Kruger has equaled that, and the bar will go up once more. Tessa Sanderson way back at the far side of the 6-lane track with her final throw in the javelin competition. 68.88, 68 meters and 88 centimeters. Her best so far. And they're just holding up a race to let her get this throw in. Tessa Sanderson's last throw with the javelin, I should think the competition is well and truly won by her. Tessa Sanderson then with this throw. And that looks better. Now, is that going to be the one to clinch it? Tessa Sanderson's competition over, just got to wait for verification of the distance, but that looked a good one. And there it is once more, Tessa Sanderson's final throw, and I think we're looking at the winner of this competition. A real monster thrown out there. And have we got a distance yet? Not yet. And we've just got to wait and see. 66 meters and 64 centimeters, so the previous throw wins it, but win it I think it does. Tessa Sanderson home in the javelin. Nigel Watson, Gerard Keating not running. And the men's 200 meters is away. And showing well in lane 3, Simon Baird, but already after a good start, Derek O'Connor's pulling up the ground on him. And in the middle of your picture, Darren Clark. And it's now a lead there for Clark in the middle. Clark heading Baird, and Clark wins it from Baird with O'Connor in third place. Darren Clark, the Australian, wins the men's 200 meters from Simon Baird.
Time there, 21 seconds exactly.
Darren Clark, the last year's 3A's 400 meters and world finalist in the 400 meters, showing that he has class over the 200 as well. And once again, it's a fight between the two Irishmen, North and South. And Simon Baird, fourth in the Olympic trials last week, coming through to beat O'Connor again as he did in the 100 meters.
And off goes Alex Kruger, his first attempt at 2 meters 19. What a jump! That is extra special, and that sends him right up the rankings into third place in the United Kingdom. From Liverpool, Alex Kruger clears 2:19. Now only Jeff Parsons and Mark Naylor are better than him in the UK. That was some jump. Just have another look.
Yes, well, yet again tonight we see in Belfast somebody setting the seal on their possible selection for Los Angeles. 2 meters and 19, 4 centimeters higher than the existing all-comers record. And Alex Kruger goes right up to number 3 on the rankings.
Women's 200 meters then.
For Alex Kruger.
And we've got to look for the two lanes 2 and 3. Jacobs in 3, Baptiste in 2. And already looking good is Joan Baptiste in lane 2. But this is going to be a good race. Joan Baptiste in pink with Simone Jacobs on her shoulder. It's Baptiste who leads them into the home straight, but Jacobs now battling back. Jacobs in lane 3, Baptiste in lane 2. Shoulder to shoulder, they come to the line. Jacobs in lane 3 and Baptiste just edging ahead. And at the line, Baptiste gets it. Joan Baptiste gets it with Simone Jacobs in second place and the Australian girl Debbie Wells in third. But that remarkable rivalry continues.